Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. Beat one code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. Beat one egg.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Welcome Black to B1 Ag. I'm John Henry Harris. We are Farmer Brown, the MC. Here at B1 Ag, we focus on Black agriculture as it pertains to agricultural production, education, marketing, health, food, nutrition, and economics, all for the Black family and the Black community. I hope we reach you doing well, feeling well, and in a positive state of mind, in a growth state of mind. Things getting strange, y'all. You know, there have been a lot of conspiratorial theories and banter going back and forth since this pandemic hit. But now it looks like things are becoming more real. Yesterday, New York City announced their plans to move forward with a mandate. They're mandating that if you have not been experimentally treated, then you will not be able to go indoors or partake or spend money at leisure activities such as restaurants and gyms. Now, interestingly enough, New York City is also in the middle of ramping up, even limiting your ability to work if you haven't been experimentally treated. So we're going to look at this today, not from a standpoint of the treatment, but the fact that, okay, if they can turn you around and say you can't enter this store because it's indoors, is there a possibility that they may even say you can't go into a restaurant or a bodega to even shop? So today, here at B1 Ag, we are going to tackle, are the NYC mandates, the New York City mandates, a call to grow harder? These mandates going down, is this really signaling more of the importance to grow your own food? Farmer Brown, let's tackle this subject today.
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well, staying alert. Just to preface, with all respect to the platform, we greatly appreciate this platform to get this message out and have these conversations. And so we're going to be doing a little linguistic psycho acrobatics today, dancing around this subject, but we want to be very concise and clear that this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. I read 1984 years ago. I read Behold a Pale Horse years ago. I read Malachi York, Degree of Christism years ago. And so saying that to say, we're very aware that there's some things that are going on around the world that are changing the way we do business as human beings on this planet. I think this news that came out of New York should be a wake-up call, regardless if you're on the side of the VEED versus the non-VEED. I think it's very interesting today as we speak. Right now in North America, 50.3% of the population has been inoculated. 50.3%. This is half of 390 million people. What this equates to is 165 million fully VE'd. Saying that to say, here at B1 Ag, we specifically like to focus our conversation around food security, specifically food security and production as it relates to the B1 family, the melanated family around the diaspora, but specifically here on Turtle Island. And so when I saw this news come out, I can't say that I was surprised. I'm not going to lie. Last year, I was assuming, okay, connect the dots, we see where this is going to go. And so we've reached a point where it's literally 50-50. The country is split right now. There's 50% of the corporation, the nation that says, hey, to get back to normal, if normal exists, we have to apply the protocols. And there's another 50% says, no, I'm good, I'll wait, or I'm cool. Either way, we're not here to give medical advice. We're not here to disparage anybody. We're an organism that has free choice. That's what separates us from other animals, right? And so I think right now is a good time for us to really hone in on what are the things that this split dichotomy has in common. Everybody has to eat. We've seen over the last few weeks now, one half has been saying, oh, this is a pandemic of the unVE'd versus the VE'd. But see, because the unVE'd aren't getting VE'd, then the VE'd can't go out. You got to put your mask back on. And so even if you are VE'd, well, you can't enjoy all of these things. And so you should be mad at the unVE'd. And then once the unVE'd get VE'd, then you can go back to normal. And so I think that's a very disparaging dynamic that's being put in motion. But once again, here at B1 Ag, we want to look at what is the opportunity that lies because this dynamic exists. And so I definitely look forward to deep diving a little deeper into this. Mute.
We like to put everything in context. So I do have a short video that I like to show you, just breaking down exactly the rollout of these New York City mandates.
The key to NYC Pass will be a first-in-the-nation approach. The only way to patronize these establishments indoors will be if you're vaccinated, at least one dose.
It's the first in its series in the U.S. that follows in the line of what we're seeing in Europe as far as more restrictive vaccination policies as part of the push to try and get more shots in arms. What it requires is for people who are trying to partake in any of these indoor activities to show either a vaccination card or one of the digital apps that are available in New York State. There's a statewide Excelsior Pass, and also New York City just came out with its own COVID Safe app. The Excelsior Pass involves a QR code that people can show on their phone, whereas the New York City app seems to be more of a camera application where you take a picture of your actual card, your photo ID. You can basically digitally store your vaccination proof to try and show at the door at these venues. I would anticipate city officials who would go into these venues and potentially check vaccination proof or do some type of auditing of the process at the door. A lot of private businesses have already taken that step. It makes good political sense to ride that wave a little bit. I think that it wouldn't be surprising if other large cities take a similar step and we start seeing it unfold as we have seen throughout the pandemic, potentially along the political divide. These large cities that have gone through it, I think, are more willing to impose these types of restrictions. There's a lot of pushback against the renewal of the mask recommendations by the CDC. So I think the push for vaccination seems to be taking hold as the main move here for some politicians, but also experts are making clear that that is the best choice here as far as getting our way through the end stage of the pandemic. We've all seen cases of people fighting in grocery stores over a mask wearing. You can only imagine some repeats of that when it comes to people turned away at restaurants. As Delta variant takes hold, people are going to be increasingly trying to put pressure on those who are unvaccinated. One of those levers of pressure is going to be restricted access. And as New York City goes, typically a lot of other large cities would follow.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other.
Now, for me here at B1 Ag, we focus on food production, all things centered around agriculture and food. Now, this NYC pass, if you don't have this NYC pass, they're looking at like you can't access, if you don't have this NYC pass, you can't access restaurants, gyms. They're starting to look at talking about you can't take public transportation. You know, if they're accessing, you know, basically anything that you'll be indoors. Grocery stores are indoors, aren't they? Will they take it that far? This is a concern. This is a concern because, again, this is almost like New York City is being a testing ground for this program, this new program that they're trying to roll out. And we all know that, you know, they usually start with New York and LA. So it's something to really look at. What's going on, Farmer Brown?
I remember the first time I ever went to New York City. This was in September 24th. It was my birthday, my 21st birthday. We went up there to meet with Rob Jackson. You know, he had just signed with Divine Meals.
Right.
Me, Fresh, Mino. We were waiting for him at the hotel. You know, we had pulled up. This was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I remember we pulled up. We're just sitting in the car waiting. And I mean, you could literally still see the smoke from the towers across the water. You could still see the smoke from the towers from 9/11. And I remember it was like 3 or 4 taxi cabs just pulled up on us. Get the F out of the car. You're going to get the worst ass beating of your life. And it was that serious. You know, everything was on high alert. And that was my introduction to New York City. You know, we're from small town Kentucky. You know, we were just up here trying to do music, waiting on a homeboy to come down and let us in. Saying that to say, a lot of times, oh, that ain't going to happen to me. A lot of us have this mindset that, oh, that's something that somebody else is dealing with. Like you said, New York City is testing ground for different policies. We know what happened after 9/11. This is when the Patriot Act hit. This is when now, okay, I have legal justification to kind of follow what you got going on. We don't want to delve into conspiracy theory, but we're trying to contextualize how things do change. Anybody born since 9/11, all of your information, your privacy being encroached upon has become normal. Those people didn't know a such thing as just private conversations with regular human beings. We've now crossed into a paradigm. We've now crossed into a situation where our food and the way we eat. Let me get into specifics because we don't like to deal in conjecture. There's a survey, and this is out of Minnesota, shows that 56% of Americans say that they dine at a restaurant or they get takeout or meals delivered at least 2 to 3 times a week. 10% total of 395 million said that they eat out 4 to 6 times a week. 6% total said they eat out every day. These have huge implications when you think of one thing that the VED versus non-VED have in common. Everybody has to eat. We also see that agriculture is taking a hit. A lot of ways that we ship our food. We know that agriculture right now in North America, one of the ways it thrives is from foreign vendors, foreign buyers. I mean, you know, people from overseas that are buying the agricultural products, the soy, the wheat, the grains, the livestock, what have you. And so we see that, okay, the means of delivering these products around the globe, and a lot of times our melanated farmers are left out of, that's been severely affected. And so the rational thing of, okay, yeah, we're going to have to localize our food systems. We're going to have to localize, and that just means, okay, instead of us me depending on 90% of my seafood coming from Asia, we're going to have to revisit, okay, we have all these waterways in North America. We have these fishermen in North America. It is cheaper for me to get my fish products from overseas, but maybe I need to revisit, okay, are there some local people around here that were fishing? Peace to brother Rizza Islam. I saw him on Alex Jones just speaking about we got to get back to fishing. We have to get back to farming. Here at B1 Ag, we've really been beating down the door like family. We got to get back to growing food. This is not a cute thing of, oh, I just want to grow flowers in the garden. This isn't the thing to test your gangster, right? Like right now, I feel like my coolness sitting on the line. I know many of us, not all, but many of us have this stigma that farming was something that was relegated to shadow slaves. Farming is something that was, for people who are down and out working on plantations. But farming is a solution. I'm not going to say the solution, but farming or gardening, urban gardening. When we're thinking about a place like New York City, my first time seeing that place is like, man, this looks like a huge cell phone. When you're coming in over the bridge, it looks like a huge cell phone. Like, where would you grow food? But you think about these rooftop gardens. You're thinking about, some of these apartment buildings where there is capacity to start urban gardens. Maybe about 50, 60 miles outside of the city, there is farmland. There are people in Jersey, once you go into rural New York, that do still have farms. Right now, I think this is a time, obviously, we want to focus our conversation on how to make sure melanated farmers and producers are not only being supported that are already in the game, but how do we make sure we're onboarding and supporting and marketing new blood into the agricultural space. But right now, I think these mandates are, they're not even the canary in the cave no more. The smoke is coming out, family.
Now, Farmer Brian, could you please repeat those stats about the people that, the number of Americans that eat out over the course of a week?
Of more than 390 million, well, we'll call human beings. Some of these people ain't acting human no more. But if we classify them as human beings of 390 million, 56% say that they dine at a restaurant, get takeout, or have a meal delivered 2 to 3 times a week. Fully 10% said that they eat out 4 to 6 times a week. 10%. And 6% said they eat out every day. If you're not keeping up with the VEED versus unVEED right now, it's literally at 50.3% in North America as we speak on this day. What is this, August? Right in August. And so we're literally at a point in time. This is a historical moment, family. We're literally split in half. Once again, here at B1 Ag, we're not here to try to influence or tell anybody what to do when it comes to what they feel is best for their situation. But when we're looking at our overall food security, we have a government official, somebody that was elected or selected, that said, hey, if you don't do this, then you're not going to have access to this. Later in the show, we'll talk about some of the things that, harvest pretty quickly between 40 to 60 days. But all of these things are happening very fast, family. I think it was very interesting, and I'm hip hop to the core, so don't get me wrong. But I think after Mayor de Blasio brought this information out, I think a lot of us in the melanated family was looking at the verses between the Locks and Dipset, which is cool. These are people we came up on. We're looking at what's going on with the baby, which I feel like in many ways, as above, so below. Look at this situation. This person represents virility, masculinity. I got it. I do what I want to. I say what I want to. And we're seeing how, because you said something that affected the wrong group of people, you see how the bag, you see what, normally I wake up and I can just go out and make bread, and you see how quickly that can be changed. How do we apply that to the community? Because right now the melanated community is waking up. We're becoming aware of our prowess. We're becoming aware that, hey, we're not these little poor, lowly group of people, and so don't think any second, family, and I don't need to say this, that there's not other factions that benefit off of us being perceiving ourselves as weak. And so as a critical mass of us is now waking up to see, okay, we're not weak. We have choices. Not only do we have choices, we have DNA inside of us that have made us powerful enough, is giving us the prowess, the genetic predisposition to master something as simple as food security. Something as simple as food security. It is so frustrating seeing the the divisions going on right now within the melanated community. Before we came on this podcast, man, you was telling me about what's going on in Jacksonville right now. That hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. You know, families are really, people are experiencing a lot of hurt right now. Not to mention 7 million plus people stand to be evicted. We see how the governing body is dragging their feet when it comes to, I want to keep you safe, but I'll turn my back when it's time for you to get kicked out. I want to keep you safe and healthy, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to pay these farmers not to grow anything. I wish the family would look at what's going on and not see it as, oh my God, the sky's falling. Look at this as the Most High is talking. The Most High is telling us, y'all, get black to the garden. Get black to the garden. With all of this confusion, the elder Neely Fuller says confusion is one of the worst things. You want to avoid confusion. And so my stomach is not confused when it grumbles. My children's stomachs aren't confused when they grumble. To mitigate that problem of a grumbling stomach, you have to have food. Well, where do we get food? The other day we were talking about a lot of this highly processed food is bad for us. Well, guess what? With a mandate like this, if it's rolled out, like we see, the benefit we have is, okay, New York City, and I'm not going to say benefit at the expense of the New Yorkers, but this is a pilot. And best believe, and so the researcher in me understands I'm only doing this pilot because I want to see, you know, what this looks like as I roll it out to other cities, right? And so right now, we have a small window of time to really decide, now, are we going to, you know, and it's fine to be entertained, you know, fight or flight, but, you know, sometime within that flight, you might want to, you know, figure out, okay, now how can I fight this? Because I will get hungry. I can't eat my favorite rapper's verses. I mean, I can dance to them. I saw the draft this week. You know, a lot of people crunk about the Lakers. What are we going to do with our team and our ability to eat? Because you can't eat jump shots. Herd mentality, herd immunity.
They're actually denying you, they're telling you up front that, okay, restaurants, that's the first thing they said was restaurants. So they're actually making it legislating the right to deny you to buy food. How far will they take it? Because they're saying, we must protect you, you know, because, you know, the restaurants, the indoors, the enclosed areas, and, you know, to stop the spread. Like I said before, grocery stores are indoors. They're talking about public transportation, denying people public transportation. The rent moratorium is over. People, it's setting a very, it's setting very disturbing precedents. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't take a lot of brain power or high IQ to see where this is going. Here at B1 Ag, we focus on food. Look, we talk every time we get on here. Look, we need to grow our own food, grow your own food, get to the black to the garden. Can y'all see why we want this message to get out? Please subscribe, like, and share. Talk to your loved ones. Get this word out. Frederick Douglass let us know way back in the day, food can be used as a weapon of war. Can you understand and make the correlation of how food can be used as a weapon? They're actually denying you the right to buy food. You can have a stack. You know how people use the money phone, how the rappers got the money phone? You can have your money phone out and they're like, no, you can't come in here. You don't have your NYC pass.
Excelsior. Waka Flocka, of all people. We discussed this a while back. Why didn't we hear about him? We're seeing all of these disparaging images of men being broken. Peace to the brother Tariq Nasheed. We're watching our brothers get buck broken right now, systematically, financially. Much respect to Boosie. You know, he speaks up about things, but we're watching men get broken before our eyes. And that's within the entertainment realm. I want you to understand when you see what's going on with them, and I think this is a great talking point. It just came to my head. Understand that the farmers, the black farmers, your ancestors, many of your ancestors that came from the deep South and around the Midwest and Northeast, even the West Coast. This is the type of systematic breaking that has been happening for decades, almost going back to the 1800s. It wasn't this thing, oh, I just don't know how to produce food. It was no, because a lot of our black farmers were like the baby. You know, our black farmers was like the baby back in 1915. When 15% of all the farmers in North America were melanated. And systematically, the same way we see the opportunities for them, nope, you can't come to this festival. No, you can't get in this market. Oh, no, we're not going to give you this endorsement. No, you're not going to have access to this equipment. This has been what the black farmers have been dealing with, right? So, you know, once again, we speak solutions here. So what is the solution? I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how messed up it is, what's going on with the baby right now. Man, this is why we need our own record labels. This is why we need our own platforms, our own Lollapaloozas. Okay. So everybody don't like rap music. I'm not going to sit here in front and say I listen to the baby, but as a melanated man, I'm like, man, is this how serious it is? And you understand, people have families to feed. These farmers have had family legacies. These farmers have families. They're not giving you verses. They're producing food. And see, because we're enamored with a lot of the entertainment, we're not seeing that, man, the people that are actually producing food are getting whatever we see going on with the baby, T.I. and Boosie, multiply that times 20 with the black farmers. And so whether you like rap music or not, I know you like food. I know you like to eat. Not like to eat, you have to eat. And so the same mindset that we're putting, okay, how can we come up with labels? How can we independently help these rappers? Because with music, it's over, family. You know, the only way I'm going to sell music now is on a platform that can push a button, and now all my content is gone. I can't just sell you a CD because you don't have a CD player. I can sell you food. There's still a small window of time where if we take it upon ourselves, the same way I'm going to stand in line for some Jordans, same way I'm going to stand in line for an iPhone or some new device, I'm going to make sure I find me a black farmer. At this point, family, find you a local producer. Make it your long-term goal to make sure, okay, a percentage of what I'm bringing in is going to go to a melanated person that produces food. Me and the people in my apartment complex, me and the people in my community, me and the people in my fraternity, my sorority, me and the people in whatever group I'm a part of, we're going to figure out now how can we come up with a buying team. We're going to come up with a team, and we're going to make sure we invest in X amount of produce boxes, just in case. And it's not a bad thing. Trust me, family, the Illuminati's not going to come and get you if you decide you're going to support some black producers. Nobody's going to come and stop you if you decide in your mind, okay, I'm city, I'm a hood cat, but I'm going to allocate a little bit of my thought energy to learning how to produce something. Because even the work I'm selling is an agricultural product. We're in the age of, we're in the world of transparency. Since 2021, there's a magic in honesty. And best believe the faction that wants to close you in this box of ultimate dependency understands the power of truth. And so this is why in the last few weeks, we've seen the truth about numbers. We've seen the truth about super spreaders. I thought it was very interesting looking at the Lollapalooza concert. I'm like, man, that's, you know, if this is a public emergency, this is a, but, you know, once again, we're not here giving medical advice, more so than this is a huge opportunity, because you literally have 50% of the country, whether you agree with their stance or not with getting V'd up, that is going to need to eat somewhere. They're going to need to eat. You know, are these conversations you have with your family members, your friends that have been V'd up, you know, purchasing teams to go out and buy food? But these are very serious conversations to have. But once again, just like Amazon, just like all of these large corporations, they experienced a windfall out of this tragedy. What I'm telling the family is for ag entrepreneurs who, you know, have kind of heard the murmurings, have heard the talk, this is a great opportunity to figure out now where can I insert myself within this food system. I see that 50%, okay, of the country is facing a real situation as far as their food security. And this isn't a thing that you can kick down the road. Unfortunately, we, as the elder John Boyd had talked about, we can't afford another 9 years of kicking this can down the road of, you know, how much are we going to value our food security? For example, right now, like lettuce, kale, spinach, mustard greens, salad greens, These are about the quickest things that you can get a harvest out of 40 to 60 days. See, here at B1 Ag, we like to be very specific. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, man, you know, it's going bad. They're putting mandates. You might want to go out in the garden tomorrow, and then you'll have your full food supply the day after. It don't work like that, family. We need to think months ahead, not even months ahead, but years ahead. And all I'm saying is let us take this sobering situation of what's going on in New York City for each of us internally, because wherever we're at respectively within what we call Turtle Island, the corporation, the UA, however you want to frame it, we can take the words away. How are we going to make sure we're feeding ourselves? Am I connecting with like minds? Are we pulling our resources together? Okay, meet a black farmer and ask them like, hey, what is it that you've been going to your government for that they haven't been giving you? You know, we can have support black farms. We can do all of that, but let's get to the tangibles. Let's get to the specifics. Oh, you need tractors? Okay, well, I was gonna get me a Benz this year, but I'm gonna put something in on making sure X amount of farmers got access to tractors. Y'all need seed? Okay, well, I'm in the city, but I got a little bit extra money to spend to say one of my brothers and sisters in rural areas, and we're just gonna develop our seed banks. We see that Bill Gates spent $8 million in Sweden to develop a seed bank. And so we're going to put some of our bread together so we don't find ourselves like the baby when it comes to our food security, where we're getting shut out and somebody can make us coming up. I'm sorry for saying you're not feeding us. I'm sorry for saying this food that you're giving us is crap. We are in a position right now, family, to expand far beyond. And I know the family who's already doing it already understands what I'm saying. This conversation is for those that, might come across this conversation, those that's kind of in and out. This is a great opportunity, family. At the same time, this is real life. This is no conspiracy theory. This is no Alex Jones or George Norrie. This is real life. And we have a huge opportunity. The Honor Elijah Muhammad was speaking about this in 1964, the blueprint to wealth. And so saying that to say is not a secret. If we want this power that we speak of, not just power to run the world, but power to run our lives, power to get up in the morning and not be slumped over, not to be unhealthy, it starts with food. Since we see that a large percentage of us are eating out every day, this is a huge opportunity not only for the entrepreneurs to be like, now let me become an innovative resource of how people eat. Since I see a lot of people may not be able to go indoors. I imagine in some of these cities, they're going to punish the businesses if you allow people to come into your business and eat. And so there's this opportunity to explore pop-up farmers markets where it's open space. Is this an opportunity to work with some local farmers like, hey, we want to do some outdoor farm to table dinners where we got space where we can socially distance to where you don't, because you're going to have agents. Like I said, my first introduction to New York City, get out of the car now. It's going to be enforced, family. The team of people that's going to go knock on doors to see if you got VEED, we need to match that energy with people that's going to knock on doors, go to communities. Hey, y'all got CSA boxes? Hey, are y'all interested in doing some communal purchasing, some communal shares? Well, we got teams of 10 farmers who can provide whatever it is you need. Are we doing the proper surveying of the family to see what it is you eat? We don't want farmers, who are already working with limited resources, just growing something, taking a chance that maybe a market will allow them in. No. This is when you get into your people that's into statistics and numbers. Let us get a specific number. How many people within this zip code eat carrots? How many people within this zip code eats leafy greens? Now that I got this number, how many brothers out here have access to high tunnels? How many brothers out here have access to land? We know every individual needs 200 square feet worth of vegetables or produce during the course of a year. A family 800 square feet. And so can we do this math locally where we're at? We understand the information is around us right now. We're seeing that people with healthy alternatives to certain therapeutics are being censored. What was it? Rizza Islam was one of the 12. Oh, he's a disinformation 12. Don't listen to him. 2 years ago, the concept of, hey, this brother's just on here talking about, how can we be better? Master, we just want to be better. And that'll get you banned. Saying that to say there's a lot of information right now online for self-empowerment, for not just social economic empowerment, but just as a better being, as a better human. So are we taking advantage of that? Are we taking advantage of the HBCUs and 1890s land grants? Are we reaching out to our local extension programs? Hey, I got some land out here. I need a soil sample. Can you come give me a soil sample? Hey, I'm thinking about raising some livestock. Is this the best thing to do? Can you come look at my operation and let me know what's the best thing to do? Or talk to a farmer directly. I've learned that just talking to a farmer directly, somebody who's had wins and losses within this ag space, can tell you a lot more than a book. But right now, we need to take advantage of what is available to us, because this is, despite the negative connotations going on around this situation, this is a huge opportunity, family, for us to reinsert ourselves in what tomorrow looks like, what this future looks like. Because I guarantee you, if this gets off in New York, and it isn't a groundswell of people who's ready on day one, I think they're going to start rolling this out August 16th. If it isn't a critical mass of us, it's like, all right, I see what you got going on. But hey, you know what? I think a good idea will be for me to start growing now. So by December, if it becomes the coldest winter, I've at least got some greens. I've at least got some spinach. This ain't about trying to feed the world. This ain't about trying to solve everybody's problem, family. This is about trying to be very codified in a world that we see is changing before our eyes.
It's that simple, y'all. It's that simple. Like the green leafy vegetables, 40 to 60 days. You know, that's a pretty quick turnaround in the farm world. But these green leafy vegetables are also good for keeping you healthy, keeping your immune system up to fight off the 19. Can y'all feel me? The remedy for is in the food as far as medicinal purposes. The remedies in the food as far as food security purposes. The need to grow your own food. Here at B1 Ag, we have a class for you at healthyblackfood.com. Sign up. The first month is actually free. Learn how to grow your own food. It is a necessity right now. Can you see the connection of how learning how to grow your own food is a necessity? Everyone in this country needs to have a working knowledge of how to grow their own food. Now, we like to direct most of our attention towards, the melanated peoples, but this is a need for everybody, every single person on this planet. And because we're often overlooked, that's why we focus on us, because we'll be the last ones to get this information, and we'll be the last ones to get in line at the buffet if they let us in, because we don't have a pass. My dream is that we all have a seat at the table, an equitable seat at the table, to get what is our God-given right, and that's to eat. It's a need. It's to survive. Can you imagine getting turned around at restaurants and stores saying that you can't shop here? You can't get any food. That's where we're at. No, it hasn't been rolled out throughout the entire country. Like Farmer Brown MC said, it's a pilot. This is a pilot program. It's a test run. It's way beyond serious. We need to get seeds in the ground. I like to eat. Do you? Do you want to eat? Don't feel complacent because you're not hungry now. Hunger can knock on your door tomorrow. Don't feel complacent because We're not in NYC, and these mandates aren't in your city today. These mandates could be in your city tomorrow.
The name of the game now is, okay, on the federal level, I can't mandate this, but, you know, because there's so much money, because all, you know, the thing about your politicians, not to get into politics, they're bought. Dr. Claude Anderson speaks about that. You have to buy your politicians. You have to have your voice. There were certain groups across the ocean that got protections during all of this because they have a lobby. They have a lobby that their people support. Hey, we don't want y'all picking on us, affecting our business because y'all are mad at us. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard people refer to it as the coldest winter. You know, winter is a couple of months, but let's be honest. The average store, you know, many of us shop at Walmart, your Kroger, your Publix, your Sunflowers. The average store only has 3 days a week. If you're in an apartment, and so you think about balconies. Once again, this is why this class we do, Grow Your Own Food, is good. You can grow indoors. There's certain plants you can grow indoors. Some apartment complexes around where I'm at, they have outdoor raised bed gardens. What about if I'm in the cold region? This is where you create either a high tunnel or caterpillar tunnel. And this is where you pretty much have a controlled environment with your planting operation. So once again, this is what I'm saying. And the concept, to answer your question, look up urban agriculture. There are a gazillion different platforms, a gazillion different examples of basic structures. The concept is your plants need sun, water, and light. They need sun, water, and light and nutrients. If you're in a place where you have bad soil, guess what? You know, there's things that there's amendments that you can put into your soil: perlite, vermiculite, blood meal, composting. These are things you can do where you're at. While we're still able to go in hardware stores, are you stocking up on wood for wood frames? You can plant plants in tires. You can plant plants in anything. You don't want anything toxic, in buckets that can hold soil, that can hold your growing matrix. Are we saying that, okay, if I'm in my apartment, I can just grow my whole year's worth of food? Nope. But if I'm in an apartment complex, that means I'm around X amount of other individuals that I know are going to have to eat. And so maybe I have capacity in my space to grow garlic. Maybe 3 of my neighbors have the capacity to grow just leafy greens. Maybe a couple of other neighbors, okay, they're strictly going to do tomatoes. But this is, once again, the perfect time for us to have these conversations. I keep hearing this word lockdown thrown around. If you remember last March, we just need to lock down for 2 weeks. I don't know if y'all remember that. This was fresh after the Kobe situation. Just lock down for 2 weeks. There's this mysterious virus coming from coming from Asia. So just 2 weeks. We're in 2021, family. You know, what did they say? I don't know the exact words. You fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And so we're not here to throw around conspiracy theories. We're here to say, like, hey, there's some real things going on. And regardless of everything else going on, people getting evicted, clear injustice, clear efforts to just break people, financially castrate people. One thing we can control is our food security. This is a lot of land. I don't know if you've, I've had the privilege of driving around most of America, flown over some of it. There's a lot of land here. Matter of fact, 75% of us only live on 3% of the land. I know some people have anxiety about being in rural areas. We have these stigmas that the Texas chainsaw guy is going to come out and chop some of the most peaceful locations. If we want to break it down to mental health, I imagine right now being in New York City, I would be going crazy. Here I'm on this island of millions of people. It's already really not anywhere where there's a lot of food. The food that I do have access to isn't, probably the best quality food. If somebody decided to shut these bridges down, it's a wrap. So this is the best time, but guess what? There are rooftop gardens. Matter of fact, Paris opened one of the largest rooftop garden facilities just in the last few months. They got the picture. And so every one of those buildings in New York City, and I'm not saying, go violate your building codes, But I think a lot of people can appreciate, okay, now how can we make best use of the resources we do have available? At the top of a building, guess what? You're going to get a lot of sun. Are you delegating roles? Okay, yeah, I'm on lockdown. I can't really go to the office. And so amongst me and 10 of my neighbors, 20 of my neighbors, how many of my neighbors, I'll take 2 days a week to go up and just water. I'll take a couple, and you're not going to have many weeds on a rooftop garden because nothing else is going to grow up there but what you plant. In the meanwhile, okay, these kids, they're going to have these kids locked down. Have I partnered up with some farmers within a fair distance of where I stay to send my kids off to do some internships? General rule of thumb, if you are wanting to long-term get into the agricultural field, it takes about 3 to get in, 3 years of experience. This is the perfect excuse to get some of that experience. Maybe you don't want to, in the long term, become a farmer, but if you understand from seed to table the process, then this is what's going to trigger. This is going to be the catalyst for that innovation that we're going to need to secure our food security, to where somebody can't just say, oh, if you don't have this piece of paper, if you don't have this in your arm or whatever this goes into, you can't come in and eat. This is a huge opportunity, family.
We had the brother ask, how he live in an apartment. At healthyblackfood.com, we show you how to grow food. We actually have a segment where we're showing you how to plant on your porch at your apartment, literally using milk crates, buckets, pots. I even said, like, if you really want to be fly with it, you can actually you can plant food in an Air Jordan. Anything that holds, that can be used as a container, you can plant in it. As long as it can hold soil. If it can hold soil, you can plant in it. And we show you this at healthyblackfood.com. Sign up. This is a necessity. If we do go on lockdown, if we don't go on lockdown, but especially if we do, your kids are going to need something to do. Why not give them something as productive as showing them how to produce food? That will keep them alive. That will keep you alive. That will make sure that you and your family can survive. This
United
is more
Nations
important.
has a UN, what is it, 2050 agenda. We need to have a B1 2080 initiative.
Straight up. The Jordan pot.
Wouldn't that be an irony?
That would go viral for sure. Now you picture that. You got somebody in their garden is they got all the Air Jordans and they're growing food out of Air Jordans. How fly is that?
That would be a variant. That would be a fly variant.
I'm trying to tell you, you can't get better than that. Because honestly, the way things are going, that's about the best use that you'll have for an Air Jordan is to grow some food. Timberlands for the New York folks. Grow out some old, like you can literally take your old shoes and grow food in them. You can literally take pots that you don't use anymore, pans, and grow food in them. Like we said, tires, old tires, stack them up, fill them up with soil. You can grow food in them. The buckets, they call them Dutch bucket growing. You can grow them you can grow food in those. You can make your own mini greenhouses out of old windows and boxes.
Plastic, PVC pipe.
We go through these things at healthyblackfood.com. We're trying to, I don't know if y'all understand how serious this is. We started this journey with B1 Ag on January 23rd. and we've been talking about this and talking about this. We've had over 250,000 people, 250,000 people who have seen, heard, watched B1 Ag Daily Bread podcast. But we don't have nearly enough people putting seeds in the ground. Action. It's time for some action. It's time for some action. Y'all remember that? It's literally time for some action. If you want to join the course, go to healthyblackfood.com. Hey, y'all. Subscribe to the B1 Ag Daily Bread podcast on YouTube. Put it in the search bar. We need to make this conversation bigger. Quickly, immediately. As your boy T.I. would say, expeditiously. It's not a game. You see on everybody's IG, IG stories and Facebook, everybody want to go traveling, everybody want to go to the club, these doggone festivals where they crammed up shoulder to shoulder and whoop to whoop. That time is running out. It's running out. All these distractions. I can't believe after New York's mayor says you got to have an NYC pass and you can be denied from entering a restaurant. What happens immediately after that? The Locks versus Dipset. Nobody's even paying attention. We can't afford to be distracted. Because the worst distraction you could ever have is the doggone growling stomach. You talking about a distraction. Hunger pains is a hell of a distraction. Let's get serious about it, y'all. Let's grow our own food. Let's grow this conversation. Like, share, subscribe, talk to your folks, get the word out. We're talking about like, share, and subscribe, but it's not about like, shares, and subscribe. This is about survival. Literally survival. They can literally deny you the right to buy food. How crazy is that? If you can't buy food, what's your money phone gonna do? If you can't buy food, what's that? The fly? What's those clothes? What's that? Your name brand, your designer gonna do? What's that gonna do if you can't buy food? What's really important?
Form some buyers clubs. Have at least 10 farmers per 1,000 people on deck that can supply various, for people to still eat meat. You want to make sure that you have livestock and poultry producers on deck. Personally, here at B1 Ag, we're very pro produce because we understand that that's where the future is going. From the top, they're making this big case. Oh, we need to produce less cows because they're producing methane. Whether you see that as right or wrong, because we know melanated farmers are going to be drastically impacted by that. And so, if we can create markets as that's happening, if we can create markets of people who are demanding fresh produce and are actually showing that they're going to buy it, by supporting entities like Better Buggy, for example. If I'm a farmer, okay, man, I see I'm gonna have to transition from raising livestock, but man, because I see that this conversation is happening, because I see that people are actually spending money, on extra produce, now I'm incentivized to transition some of this land I've been running livestock to grow produce. But, agriculture in the game of what if maybe. It's not a thing. I'm going to record this single and hopefully people dance to it. It's like, no, if you don't eat, then I don't eat. And so as a family, this is something we can do. And even if you're selfishly oriented. You're going to have to eat. So do the selfish thing. Find a black farmer close to you. Do the selfish thing. Learn how to grow so you're not dependent on somebody that's going to say, well, if you don't have this piece of paper or something I can scan, or you're not in my database, as somebody who's gone along with whatever we're talking about, you can't come in and eat.
And please Google community supported agriculture, CSA. A good example of the CSA is like my brother Farmer Brown said, the better buggy. But this is just one example of many. The whole concept of community supported agriculture comes from a black man, because this food security issue has been an issue for us. It's always been an issue for us. Say his name again, Farmer Brown.
Booker T. Watley.
Booker T. Watley.
Not Washington, Watley. Booker T. Watley.
But wasn't Booker
He's
T.
the
Washington
equivalent of Dr. Sebi, the equivalent to he's the equivalent of all of the greats when it comes to agriculture and local food systems. This is one of the gentlemen you're not going to hear about in your history class.
But Booker T. Washington also used to go around from city to city teaching people how to farm, literally showing them how to farm. Food security has always been an issue in our community, except during those times of, Black Wall Street that we revere and hear so much about. The reason why there was the ability to have a Black Wall Street is because we were growing food. The stock market came into existence because of agricultural products. That's what was being traded. Food and commodities. Food, timber. Do y'all understand how important food is to life? If you don't eat, you don't live. There is not one single product on this planet, not no Tesla, not no Amazon, nothing on this planet flips harder than food. And when I say flip, y'all know what I'm talking about. Nothing sells more than food and water. They are necessities of life. Come on, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I want to live. I want to live. I want to live. I want to live. Are you motivated to live? I know we've become complacent and let them program us to hand over a lot of things that we need to live. We handed them over to other people to take care of. But we're at a time now, these survival skills, these tasks that need to be done for our survival that we've handed over to other people, it's time to take it back and put the power back in your own hands. They want to deny people the right to come buy food at a restaurant. How far will it go? The thumbnail I use for this podcast is an empty plate with a knife and a fork. Is that what you want to see? I like a full plate of good foods, great tasting foods. Green leafy vegetables grow in 40 to 60 days. Y'all got them in the ground yet? Do you have them in the ground yet? Any last words, Farmer Brown? Because I mean, I don't want, this is not fear. I'm not trying to stoke fear, but I need the people, myself, we need to get moving. It's time to action. You know what I'm saying?
Willie D, enough said.
When I played football, you know what I'm saying? They had a little saying, get some fire up under your ass. Get some fire up under your ass, or you don't get burnt. Grow harder. B1 Ag, Daily Bread Podcast, John Henry Harris, Farmer Brown MC. We're going to come back soon. Hopefully when we come back, you'll have some seeds in the ground. Make a place for yourself at the table. Make a place for yourself at the table. Make a place for yourself at the table. So you don't have to worry about, do I have access to somebody else's table? B1 Ag, we out.